Welcome to part 2 of our Introduction to Exponential and Logarithmic Functions. Here we will be discussing and learning about the basics of logarithms. The first thing that we need to know is the relationship between an expression written in exponential form and logarithmic form and how to convert between the two. Exponential form of an expression is just what it sounds like. It's literally a base raised to an exponent equals a, the answer, if you will. Then logarithmic form, if we wanted to translate these three values, is log base b of a equals x. Note that the output of the logarithmic function, or rather the expression written in logarithmic form, is x, the exponent. So logarithms are a fancy way to write exponents. If we take a look at the example written down here, we have one example of an expression in exponential form is 2 to the 8th power equals 256. Converting this into logarithmic form, we recognize that 2 is our base, it's the b value, and so it's written down low, like base is low. Then our exponent x is 8. That is what the output is in logarithmic form. Then this a value here is 256. That goes inside in the log function. So we say log base 2 of 256 equals 8. 2 to the 8th power equals 256. Let's take a look at converting some expressions between exponential and logarithmic form. Here we have 3 examples that are not quite complete in exponential form, so we're going to do a little bit of learning along the way, and then we want to rewrite them in logarithmic form, or log form for short. Here we have 4 to the negative third equals something. We have to figure out what that something is. In part 1, we talked about negative exponents. This means 1 over 4 to the positive third, or 1 over 4 cubed, which is 1 over 64. So then we have our expression in exponential form, and we want to convert it to log form. Writing this in log form will look like log, and then our base goes down below, log base 4, it's like a subscript, of 1/64, and a logarithm always equals the exponent. It equals -3. A logarithm is an exponent. The word is equals. A logarithm is an exponent. Here, we're missing the exponent in our exponential form. 1/3 to the something gives us 1/9. We want to fill in what that something is to complete exponential form. Well, 1 to what gives us 1, and 3 to that same what gives us 9. That what value is 2. So therefore, our exponent, that makes sense here, is a 2. 1/3 quantity squared is 1/9. Now we can write that in log form. Our base is 1/3, so log base 1/3 of 1/9 is or equals the exponent 2. Our last example, 10 to the negative second, really means 1 over 10 to the positive second, or 1 over 10 squared, and 10 squared is 100. So this is 1/100th. We also see this oftentimes with a base of 10. We see like the answer written as a decimal. So we could also write this as 10 to the negative second equals 1/100th in decimal form, which is 0.01. So we will write both of these. Our base is 10. Now the interesting thing with logs is that that is the known base. Like that is the base we assume a log is unless written otherwise. See, these logarithms had a base of 4 and 1/3 respectively. They did not have a base of 10. When we have a logarithm with a base of 10, we don't need to write the base of 10. You don't need to write log base 10 because that's what we assume. So I'm not going to write any base because this base is 10. So we'll have log base 10 of 1 over 100 equals the exponent, -2. That's writing this one in log form. Then we can simply write it with a decimal instead. Log base 10, which is assumed without writing a base, of 0.01 also equals -2. These two are equivalent. We're just writing 1/100th as a fraction and a decimal. Here we have some more examples, but we're going the other way. Now we have an expression that is not quite completed in log form, and we want to write it in exponential form, so we'll fill in all these blanks. Here we have a base of 10, because it's not written, and so this is saying 10 to what exponent equals 1 million? Well, 10 to the 6th power gives us that 1 million. The cool thing about tens is that if you just count the number of zeros to the right of the 1, that's the power it was raised to. So writing this in exponential form, our base is 10. Even though we can't see it, we assume the base is 10 with a log when there's not one written. So 10 to the exponent of 6, 10 to the 6th, is 1 million. In our next example, we have log base 2 of 8, and we want to know what that equals. We're looking for the exponent to get down from 2 up to 8. 2 to the what gives us 8. 3. 2 to the 3rd gives us 8. So log base 2 of 8 equals 3. Therefore, we can rewrite this in exponential form. Our base is 2, our exponent's 3, and our output is 8. In our final example, we have log base square root of 3 of 3, and we want to know what that equals. What do we have to raise the square root of 3 up to in order to output a 3? Well, in order to get from square root of 3 to 3, we had to square it, so we had to raise it to the 2nd power. So now our expression is complete in log form. We want to write it in exponential form. Our base is the square root of 3, our exponent's 2, and the output was 3. We have just successfully translated an expression from exponential form to log form, or from log form to exponential form 6 times, and we learned that when we do not see a base written with the log form of log, we know that it is 10. If it's written, then it is whatever's written. The output of a logarithm is the exponent in our exponential expression. Since logarithms are exponents, we need to delve into all the different types of exponents we may see. We've already talked about negative exponents, but we have not yet discussed rational or fractional exponents. Let's take a look at an example, and then we'll generalize how to raise a number to a fraction. 4 to the 3 over 2. We can rewrite this as some root, but what type of root? Well, the type of root that this is going to be, with 4 underneath it, is given to us by what the denominator is here. Since our denominator of our rational exponent is 2, that means we're taking a square root. Normally, we could write the type of root we're taking there, but in mathematics, we assume a square root. However, it's not wrong to write the 2 here. This 2 here is telling us what type of root we're taking, and this value here is called the index. Then this 3 in the numerator is telling us how many times that's occurring. So we're raising it now to the 3rd. There are 2 different ways to go about solving this problem. We could do it in 2 different orders. The first way is we could do the square root of 4 first, and then cube it. The second way is that we could first cube 4 and then take the square root. I'm going to do each way. So in this first way, the square root of 4 is 2, and we're still cubing it second, so we get 2 cubed, which is 8. Then our second way, we first cube 4 and get 64, and then we take the square root of 64, which is 8. Note that either way, no matter the order, that we either took the square root and cubed, either or, we still got 8 out in the end, because math rocks. So this answer is 8. Please note also that in this problem, I did write the index of 2 every time just to show you. However, when we have an index of 2, we don't need to write it, because we assume that when we have a root symbol, that we're taking a square root. If we're taking a different type of root, like a cube root, we would definitely have to put the index there. Let's generalize what we just did. If we have some value b, some base b, and we're raising it to the m over n power, then that really means the nth root of b raised to the m. In our example, b was 4, m was 3, and n was 2. It was the square root of 4 to the third power, and I showed you that we can look at that in two different ways, depending on what's simpler. So in general, this is how we deal with rational exponents. We can write them with a root. Let's take a look at 125 to the 2/3 power. That really means the cube root of 125 and then squared. So in order to evaluate what this is, we can either take the cube root of 125 first and then square it, or we can square 125 first and then take the cube root. I would rather take the cube root of 125 first because I know what that is. The cube root of 125 is 5, and then we still have to square it, so we get 25 out. Now note that we started with 125 and we raised 125 to a power that was less than 1. That means that our output was smaller than our original input of 125. Over here, when we had 4, we raised it to a fraction that was greater than 1, and our output was greater than the original value of 4. So if you're raising a number to a rational exponent, and that rational exponent is greater than 1, your output's going to be larger than what you started with. If you're raising a base to a rational exponent that's less than 1, it's going to end up smaller than you originally started with. Now that we understand all different types of exponents, let's evaluate some logarithms. We already did this earlier in the video, but now I want to really put like a how-to to it. We're looking for the exponent because a logarithm is just a fancy way to write an exponent. In this first example, we have log base 10 of 1/1000th. So here's what we're thinking. We want to know the base of 10 to what power gives us that 1/1000th. And I personally like writing things as fractions more than decimals, so I'm going to write it as 1 over 1,000. Because we're looking for this exponent, I put a question mark there. The base is 10 because, as we've learned a few times already, that when we don't see the base of a log, it's 10. So 10 to the what gives us 1/1000th. Well, 10 to the third gives us a regular 1,000, so 10 to the negative third would give us 1/1000th. Therefore, our answer is -3. In our second problem, we have log base 1/2 of 16, and we want to know what that equals. Our base is 1/2, so we're thinking 1/2 to the what gives us 16. Well, this one's a little bit more difficult. Take a look at the 2. 2 to the what gives you 16. 2 to the 4th gives us 16. However, we're flipped. That means our exponent needs to be negative because we want to flip this so it becomes a 2 to the what gives us 16. If we raise 1/2 to the -4th, that really means 2 to the +4th, 2 over 1 to the +4th. Therefore, our answer here is -4, because 1/2 to the -4 gives us 16. In our final problem below, we have log base 49 of 7 equals what? We're looking for the exponent. So we are thinking, since our base is 49, 49 to the what power gives us 7? Well, we know that the square root of 49 is 7. Therefore, since we have to do a square root, we know we're going to need a rational exponent with a denominator of 2, since we need a square root. Here's what we can think. We think that 49, the square root of 49, is 7. Let's think about what those n and m values are. What type of root are we taking? A square root, so that value is 2. Then what are we raising it to? Well, just the first. We only want the square root of 49. We don't need to do anything to it after. So therefore, 49 to the 1/2 power gives us 7. The square root of 49 is 7. Raising something to the 1/2 power means taking the square root. So our answer here is 1/2. Our final topic today will be the natural log, or ln. This has a base of e, and as mentioned previously, e is a super important mathematical concept. It is just a number. It is 2.718 ... It's irrational, and it's also transcendental. It will become apparent why this number is important, a lot more so in calculus next year. Ln is read as natural log or as actually ln. So when we say the ln of something, you can also say the natural log of something. Whereas log, log, isn't normally spelled, or it's not said log, but ln is said as ln or natural log. Let's take a look at two common natural log examples. What is the natural log of e? Well, the natural log has a base of e, and unlike log, we don't use natural log normally like with a lot of other bases. If you see natural log, it has a base of e. We wouldn't see ln written with a different base. So the ln of e, our thought process here is the same as if it was just a regular log from before. We're looking for the exponent so that e to the what gives us that inside value of e. Remember, this is the base that's not written, base of e, to the what, because a log is an exponent, even a natural log is, and e to the what gives us this e value. Well, even though e is some interesting number, anything raised to the first power is just itself. So e to the first is e. Therefore, the natural log of e is 1. And that is a super important idea. The natural log of e is 1. Let's take a look at the second example over here. We have the natural log of 1. So this is asking us, since our base again is e, since it's natural log, we're saying e to the what equals 1. Well, e is just a number, so anything to the 0 power is 1. Therefore, e to the 0 is 1, and thus the natural log of 1 is 0. Another important idea. So make sure that you have both of these written down. The natural log of e is 1, and the natural log of 1 is 0. Thank you for watching this video on log basics, where we talked about all the basics of logarithms as well as introducing the natural log.